Hey everyone, and welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today for another explainer. Today we're unpacking a truly fascinating paradox. We're looking at a completely civilian, state-funded public college operating deep inside a highly secure military grid. We're talking about Government General Mohammed Musa Postgraduate College in Quetta, Balochistan. It's this incredible place where strict military logistics literally meet the chaotic, brilliant energy of young students striving for higher education. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because to really understand Musa College, you've got to grasp its unique geographic and administrative reality. We're talking about an institution that is funded and managed entirely by the Civilian Higher and Technical Education Department of Balochistan. And yet, it sits squarely inside the Quetta canton, which naturally raises a huge question, right? How exactly does a state-funded civilian college actually thrive on a day-to-day basis inside a military fortress?
Well, to answer that, we have to look at the historical context. In a politically complex and sometimes volatile province like Balochistan, downtown campuses often face a ton of disruption. Open city tracts are heavily impacted by political strikes and tribal friction, which can completely derail the academic calendar. But Musa College, it was purposely designed as an uninterrupted academic sanctuary. Because it's walled off behind the cantonment grid, it's effectively shielded from all that external political interference.
Section 1. The Garrison Sanctuary Concept.
Now, imagine your daily commute to class requiring you to pass through multiple military checkpoints. You aren't just walking off a bustling city street into a classroom. You're leaving downtown congestion entirely behind and entering an isolated 8 to 12-acre park-like enclave. It's completely removed from the chaos, operating with its own specific rhythm and a very strict set of rules.
And those rules, they are strictly enforced. Because they're behind defense lines, every single registered student is issued a multi-layered garrison security pass. What does this actually mean for campus life? Well, for one, there are absolutely no active political student unions allowed. But this high-security setup also creates some real spatial constraints. You just can't have sprawling mass-density hostels on campus. So most out-of-district students have to rely on private lodgings outside the cantonment, using specialized shuttle links just to get to their daily lectures.
Section 2. Evolution of an institution.
So how did we get here? Well, it was founded in the mid-1980s by General Mohammed Musa as an initiative to ease the overwhelming student load on those city campuses we just talked about. By the 1990s, the place experienced a massive boom. It became the absolute premier spot for intermediate, pre-med, and pre-engineering. But the real game changer hit in the 2010s when the Federal Higher Education Commission mandated the phase-out of legacy two-year degrees. This forced Musa College into a massive expansion, basically transforming it into a four-year terminal BS program hub affiliated with the University of Balochistan. And fast forward to 2024, they officially ditched the paper ledgers and fully integrated into a digitized provincial admission portal.
Section 3. Academics and Civil Service.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it demystifies who actually runs this educational powerhouse. The educators here aren't on volatile private contracts. No, they're provincial civil servants answering to the Directorate General of Colleges. This basic pay scale, or BPS hierarchy, acts as a rigid quality control mechanism. You've got BPS 17 lecturers on the front lines of the classroom, all the way up to a BPS 20 principal who exercises executive command and acts as the legal signatory.
But here's the kicker. In this system, promotions are far from guaranteed. Actually, scratch that. They rely entirely on this thing called an Annual Confidential Report, or ACR. And it's not just your standard performance review. It's a mandatory career audit that directly tracks board exam pass percentages and institutional discipline. So if your students aren't passing, you aren't moving up. It tightly binds a teacher's career trajectory straight to the academic success of their students.
And to really lock down accountability, a major digital biometric mandate was introduced back in 2022. You see, historically, remote areas in the province struggled with this issue of ghost teachers, educators drawing a salary but never actually showing up. While Musa College wiped this out entirely by linking fingerprint verification directly to the Higher Education Department in Central Quetta. If a faculty member doesn't physically log in on campus, the provincial treasury payroll simply doesn't trigger. No physical presence, no pay. It's a brilliantly effective use of state technology. They are equally hardcore about grading. While internal quizzes are handled on campus, final semester exams follow a strict paper lock system. Here's how it works. The external University of Balochistan boards develop the question sheet. Then, those exams are sealed under tight security oversight and dispatched straight to the Musa principal's office. Why go through all this trouble? because it completely eliminates the possibility of internal grade inflation. It absolutely ensures that a BS degree earned at Musa College carries the exact same weight and prestige as one earned at the main university campus.
Section 4. A provincial melting pot.
So the crucial point is, when we look at the lifeblood of this institution, the students, you have to look at the cost. We are talking about a semester fee of between 4,000 and 8,500 rupees. For a fully HEC-validated 4-year BS degree, that is incredibly low. Because it's so heavily subsidized by the state, this low cost basically throws open the doors of higher education to low-income families who could literally never afford private regional alternatives. It's true democratization of knowledge.
And that accessibility, it creates this incredible demographic richness. The campus isn't just pulling kids from urban Quetta. It's a vibrant living mix of Pashtuns, Baloch, Brahhuis, and Hazaras. Inside the lecture halls, sure, instruction is strictly in English and Urdu. But the moment you step out into the campus common areas, you're hit with this dynamic blend of Pashto, Balochi, Hazaragi, and Brahhui, all being spoken at once.
Now, this diversity isn't just a happy accident. It's actively engineered by state policy. They strictly cap BS departments at 60 seats and enforce statutory admission quotas for remote rural and border districts, like Pishin, Zob, and Kalat. They even lower entry metrics, down to around 40 or 45% for rural applicants to make up for early schooling disparities. But honestly, one of the coolest parts is the strict uniform code. Every student wears a white shalwar kameez with a navy blazer or a shirt and tie. When everyone is dressed identically, it completely irons out any visible socioeconomic wealth gaps among the boys. You can't tell who's rich and who's poor.
And hey, remember how we noted earlier that there are absolutely no active political student unions allowed? Well, you've got all these young guys, and that massive amount of youth energy has to go somewhere, right? The college constructively channels it into formal, faculty-monitored extracurriculars. We're talking highly competitive intercollegiate cricket and football tournaments, plus these incredible all-Balochistan bilingual declamation contests where students formally debate pressing socioeconomic topics.
Section 5. Engine of social mobility. Ultimately, the real-world impact of Musa College stretches way beyond its cantonment walls. Think about it. These 1,500 to 2,200 current students eventually graduate and literally become the backbone of local governance. They feed right into the Balochistan Civil Secretariat. Alumni enter the provincial police and military officer ranks, they supply the regional banking networks, and they go on to staff the public school faculties for the next generation. They are fundamentally shifting the institutional landscape of the entire province.
And this brilliantly illustrates the overarching mission of the college, which is perfectly captured by this mandate. By taking in youth from remote border regions, it serves as a human capital production pipeline, feeding provincial ministries, federal law enforcement, and civil infrastructure projects. Right? It's not just about handing out degrees, it's about actively building the middle class and forging the future administrative capacity of Balochistan.
Which leaves us with a final provocative question. We've seen exactly how well this unique model works. So, if an uninterrupted, highly regulated sanctuary inside a military grid can so effectively transform human capital and stabilize education in Balochistan, what happens if this hybrid civil-military educational blueprint is replicated in other volatile regions around the world? It is a fascinating question about the intersection of hard security and long-term social mobility. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about this today, and keep exploring.